Hello, awesome third graders. Sorry I'm not here today, but you are in good hands. We are going to be making a winter landscape inspired by Jen Arani. She is a graphic artist and does lots of really cool watercolor type examples. And then she actually just illustrates, usually in black and white, on her designs. So she's a really cool contemporary artist who I actually follow on Instagram. She is pretty cool. So this is kind of an idea of what you're gonna do. We're gonna do the drawing portion today, and then next week, we're gonna do kind of like a Northern Lights styled sky. So we'll talk about the watercoloring next week. So the first thing you're gonna do is take one of these square pieces of paper and a circle tracer, and you're gonna go and hold it so that it doesn't move. And go ahead and trace your circle. Okay, then if you'll grab a pair of scissors, forgot to grab one of those, and go ahead and cut it out. Try to, cut out the best you can so that it doesn't look all wonky donkey, but have fun. Okay, so make sure also that you put your name on this as well. Okay, this is not a long project, but take your time because it can look really nice or it can look kind of sloppy. So I'm just gonna put my name on the back. Now, I also have these guide sheets that show you kind of how to do the mountainous terrain, to draw a horizon line across the circle kind of near the bottom. That's gonna be our foreground. Our middle ground is these mountains. And then we'll also add stuff, the background will be the sky. We'll add shadow, branches, trees, stuff like that as well. So this is kind of my sample. You'll need to trace with Sharpie, but I want you to start with pencil first because you'll want to erase. So your horizon line, that's where the sky and the earth will meet. The mountains are above the horizon line technically here. So towards the bottom, I'm just very lightly going to draw a horizon line. And then as the ground kind of comes forward, I actually did kind of a horizon line here on this one and then added a river. It's a great idea if you want to do that. Maybe you want to have a river. I'm going to kind of erase some of this going through. And then these are some of the lines. Okay, for your mountains, that's going to be about halfway across the paper, and you're going to do some jagged, although maybe not straight lines, some jagged mountains. If you just do like this, it looks kind of funky, although not awful. But try to, practice doing some actual textured mountains, okay? Notice I'm just drawing lightly because I'm probably going to erase as I go on, okay? Then you're also gonna wanna do a shadow on the left side. It's gonna make your mountains go from flat to three-dimensional. So I'm adding this space as well. Then I want some trees. This line's kind of crooked, so I'm gonna kind of fix it and do my river coming from this area. Okay, so your trees, you want some in the background. They're gonna be smaller, foreground, and then right in the front, foreground, and then kind of middle groundish. So, but you want them to kind of overlap with the background so that they look like there's depth here. So just go ahead and draw the lines for the trees, and then you can do the other half with Sharpie. Maybe you also want to add something else. Maybe there's like a little cottage over here. Okay, that'd be kind of fun to live here. So there'd be some smoke coming out. Maybe there's a cottage. Maybe you have like a little snowman. Because if I lived in a cottage up in the mountains with the snow, I would definitely have a snowman as my buddy. Okay, now I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace all of my lines. I'm doing these to make sure they kind of look, really jagged. So I'm not necessarily doing exactly straight lines. So take your time with this. Don't rush. There's no reason to rush. It shouldn't take you too long to do. Okay. Okay, here's my river. I'm not going to worry about this other lines that I need to erase because when I'm all done, I'm going to erase them at the same time. Okay, for your trees, you want to just kind of do some lines, eventually going from smaller to longer. Kind of look like evergreen trees, almost like little Christmas trees. So start little and then just go out. Also adding, like keeping a little bit of space between the lines is gonna make them look like they're covered in snow because the white is gonna show through. You actually kind of want that. There we go. So just add your trees. Like that. Okay, so basically trace everything you've done. Like so. I don't like how skinny that got at the bottom, so here's my snowman. He needs a hat. I'm gonna add just some lines in the snow just because that part's gonna stay white. So once you're done with that, add the shadow, and you could do just some horizontal or diagonal lines. You'll notice this sample has vertical lines, so it doesn't matter, but notice how when I add those, it starts to make them look like there's almost like a back and then there's snow-covered mountains. Okay, you can also add a few, again, just lines. So these look more like rocks as opposed to just a flat thing. Refer to this for anything, any ideas. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. And then of course I would take an eraser and erase all of the pencil lines. So that's gone. Next week we'll add the sky. We'll talk about warm and cool colors, and we can even add like some snow flurries and snowflakes and stuff like that. Okay, so have fun, enjoy, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks.